Now, moving on. Moving on to the thing that I've been wanting to talk about since I started this podcast episode. Since we got into episode 66, there's one thing that's been on my mind. One event that's been on my mind. One event that I keep reliving time and time again over and over in my head. And that is One Fight Night Live 10-1 championship. Their first time ever on U.S. soil in Colorado. They have fought before on U.S. time slots. They've been doing it for a while. Back in, I believe, 2019 or 2020, they made a deal with TNT, with Turner Network, and they were on there. They had a fight night. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mighty Mouse and Moraes 1 was on that card. So they've been on this before. They've been trying to reach the American audience. This is not new. Chatri has been trying to do this for years. He's kind of ran before he walked and just wants to catapult one and get them to the U.S. and get Americans to really love One Championship. They're huge. They're massive in Asia, but he has been looking for the American market, and he's been trying. This was the first time that they actually fought on U.S. soil. Every other time that they're in American time slots, the fights are still happening in Asia, where they're fighting at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. They're fighting at weird times just to make it more viewable or easier to view for Americans. They just want to be in the American time slot. Hey guys, we're going to have to fight at fucking 7 a.m. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And that's what they've been doing. But this was the first time that they had it happen. Colorado, that athletic commission was able to pass everything that they had, whether it was the hydration cuts, whether it's the grounded knees or the knees to grounded opponents. Every single rule set that one has, they didn't have to change the judging MMA fights as a whole instead of round by round. All of it. The One Championship fights that we've been seeing, the one rule sets that we've seen time and time again, all were able to still take place. They didn't have to modify or change anything, which I thought was huge. And was it a smashing success? What a smashing success One Fight Night 10 was. It was all over my timelines, all over my Twitter feed from accounts that I never see. I never see these accounts talking about One Championship. I never see them talking about it, to the point where they were confused. They were like, why are we seeing this? Oh, I didn't realize that this was a submission and grappling match. I'm wondering why they're not standing up and punching each other. Oh, I didn't recognize that this was a Muay Thai match. I was wondering why they didn't take each other down. I was wondering why this was scored this way. Or the fact that the ref is asking for action when somebody's on somebody's back is just something we don't see very often. He just kneed him in the face while he was on the ground. I've never seen that. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what One Championship has been trying to accomplish, and I think they did it amazingly. Chatri gave this weird, unnecessary speech, this hype speech to the entire, well, I wouldn't say entire roster, but everybody that was fighting on that card. He had them all in the locker room together and was giving them like this Super Bowl halftime speech to get out there and get it. A little unnecessary, a little cringe, but you can see how hard and how long he's been waiting to get this opportunity. And you could see the concern and passion and just hope that it just goes extremely smoothly and it's as good as he wants it to be. And it works out. And boy, did it, man. Everybody was talking about it. Stamp Fairtex, Rod Tang, I think, stole the show. Both of them had incredible performance. Both of them win by TKO, well, by knockout. Actually, both of them win by knockout. And I think those two especially have an opportunity to really push Muay Thai forward in America. When you are an American and you watch these MMA fights, you watch the UFC, the thing that they love the most is still the stand-up exchanges. It just is. Grappling's still coming around. People are getting better at understanding what's happening on the ground. They're getting better at understanding jiu-jitsu and wrestling and how these takedowns are happening. And they like the really good competitive scrambles. But when it's on the feet, whether it's extremely high level, whether it's extremely low level, or whether one person is so much better on the feet than the other, it's still entertaining because if it's extremely high level, we have a chess match of two people dishing out really crisp techniques. And when it's low level, you got two people just winging shit, and we'll see who hits who. And if one's so much better than the other, we see a masterclass of striking and an ass whooping. And that's what Muay Thai is at all times. It's not boxing because you can kick, you can knee, you can work out of the clinch, you can throw elbows, you can throw flying downward elbows if you want to in Muay Thai. Rod Tang and Stamp have the ability to bring Muay Thai to America. And the thing is, they don't have to be the best. Nobody really considers Rod Tang the best Muay Thai fighter, not even on the roster. And one, nobody considers Stamp Fairtex as the best female Muay Thai fighter on one's roster. But the two of them, with how young they are, how exciting they are to watch, how charismatic they are on camera, even on the mic where they can't speak English. The fact that they come out doing dances and have these big, bright smiles and are just so energetic and enthusiastic and have this charisma about them. And then they go out and have performances like that. Rod Tang catching a spinning elbow to counter with an elbow of himself. Where do you see this? Where do you see somebody time a spinning elbow from the opponent? Not get back, not slide out the way, not cover up, not duck. Time it. I know it's coming. I've seen you throw it before. I'm going to catch it and then throw an elbow exactly where you're going to be as you turn around, knock you out, fight's over. And Stamp Fairtex, even though hers wasn't a Muay Thai fight, I realized hers was an MMA fight in which she becomes kind of the interim champion. She'll be fighting, I believe, Angela Lee. Whenever she comes back, we know what happened with Angela Lee and her family and what they're dealing with. So she's going to get all the time she needs, as she should. But it sets up a rematch with the two of them, in which Stamp lost in MMA. Stamp, though, bringing that Muay Thai base to MMA and showing people, hey, when it comes to striking, these girls in MMA just can't mess with me. They just can't stand with me. And you see her, really good opponent. Can she stand? Will she be able to keep off the takedowns? She's going to be getting taken down a lot, or at least shot on a lot. She actually ends up on the back of her opponent, backpacks her for a little while, comes off of it, knee up the middle. As she's backing up, roundhouse to the body, just a snapping kick. I mean, God, what a devastating body kick. Finishes the fight right then and there. Those two in particular have the opportunity not only to push one forward, but the entire sport of Muay Thai, the entire discipline and training of Muay Thai. They have the opportunity to push that forward in America. They're superstars. I mean, having Rod Tang in the ring, doesn't speak English at all, and hearing an American crowd. This wasn't happening in Asia. This was in Colorado. Hearing the American crowd going, Rod Tang, Rod Tang, Rod Tang.
Look at this Denver crowd.
This is showing you one championship is for real. They are here to stay. They are a legit threat in the MMA space, even though they are kind of their own combat sports space of an organization. They are here to compete with the top dogs. This was one fight night 10. Now, obviously, they've had a whole lot. It's just kind of, they started the whole Amazon Prime, whatever. There's supposed to be 12, I believe. 12 live events is what's supposed to happen on Amazon every single year as part of their deal. But man, the way people were blowing it up. Jackie Boonton was the first fight of the night. Beautiful, thunderous body kick from her as well. She got her victory by KO. Super Sage Northcutt made his return. Surprising heel hook win by Super Sage. Again, another fantastic way for one championship to bring the American crowd. We remember him, we like him, we loved him. Didn't really work out the way he was hoping. He was one of those guys, how I mentioned before, Sean O'Malley not really living up to the hype, Superset, or other guys not living up to the hype, but Sean O'Malley being able to so far. That was Super Sage Northcutt. Another guy where it's just like the looks, the fatigue, the physique and the looks and all those things paired together. Like, he was the guy that everyone was hoping would be great. Didn't really work out for him. Even at one, it didn't really work out for him. He lost a couple bad ones. In this fight, he gets dropped. He goes down right away and then somehow finds himself on a heel hook and gets a submission victory. It was really cool to see him back in there, back in the winning ways, beginning to get on the mic, talking about how much he loves the organization, talking about how much he loves his country. Obviously, that's what Sage Northcutt does. He's just very charismatic himself. Mikey Musumeci almost ends another person's career. Please tap when Mikey has your legs. Please tap. The last guy he fought, the last guy he I guess, competed against. I won't say fought. It's submission grappling. If you don't know who Mikey Musumeci is, an absolute wizard in jiu-jitsu. It's submission grappling match. The last guy he fought completely shredded his knee. ACL, MCL, his ankle, like everything torn. Everything torn to shreds because the guy just refused to tap out, which was just such a dumb decision. I mean, his whole damn leg is in a cast, basically. Still is not going to compete for a while. This match, it looks like it's going to go exactly the same. And I'm just like, please, for the love of God, tap out. Why are you letting this happen again? Luckily, Mikey kind of gives up on the leg attacks, gets to his back. RNC, gets the choke, gets the win. He's a freaking wizard. Afterwards, gets on the mic, talk about being charismatic. We know Mikey deals with a lot of like mental issues, and he gets on the mic and talks about how he's been dealing with depression and how he was extremely depressed coming into this fight. And he got into those like deep, dark places and how this makes him feel how relieved he is and how good he feels. Mikey is awesome. Always fun to watch him. If you think submission grappling is boring, watch Mikey Musumeci's matches. Trust me, there's nothing boring about them. And then, of course, the main event of the night, Mighty Mouse taking on Adriano Moraes. This is the third time they have fought. Demetrius Johnson loses the first one to Moraes by knee to the grounded opponent. And this is the other aspect of one that I've been wanting to talk about. People have been questioning the UFC's rule sets, and especially when it comes to knees, when it comes to the Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling 1 fight, everyone was just like, why is that illegal? Why is it illegal to knee somebody when you could knee them? What Jorge Masvidal did to Ben Askren wasn't illegal. So why is what Petr Yan did to Aljo illegal? It just makes no sense, and people were always asking that, always questioning it. But having this fight night, having this one event on American soil, being promoted for, 3 months, they were promoting this to get everybody's eyeballs on their rule set, to make everybody realize, why can't the UFC be more like one? That's a massive, massive win for one championship. When you have the different things, and maybe people don't agree with the hydration test, maybe people don't agree with MMA being scored as a whole, but you'd also say in the final, in the main event of UFC 288 with Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling, how much better would it have been? How much more concise would it have been if they all just judged it as a whole? At the end of the fight, they just say, hey, who won the fight? Not round by round, not 10-point scoring system. Who won the fight? I promise you, if you haven't seen enough one championship, I try to watch as many as I can. The 7 a.m. ones that happen in Lumpini Stadium, like those are a little tough for me, but I definitely watch every single one they have for American time slots. It is extremely rare when I disagree with the final result of a decision. When I disagree with a decision of a fight, it is extremely rare when I do. I feel like they almost always get it right. Even in close fights, there's been time and time again where I'm like, oh man, that one's tough to score, but I'm going to go this guy. And then they score it for that guy, and I'm like, all right, shit. It's always working out that way. But especially for that rule set of the knees to grounded opponent, it just puts such a bigger light on it. And that's how Mighty Mouse lost the first fight to Moraes. The second fight against Moraes, he wins with a knee. Moraes wasn't grounded. He was actually like falling back into the fence when Mighty Mouse threw a perfectly timed kick, perfectly timed knee, knocked him out. Going into this fight, they know each other. When you fight 3 times, it's just so hard to surprise each other. Like, Mighty Mouse knows what positions he can't get into. I'll call him Demetrius Johnson. I keep calling him Mighty Mouse. You guys know him as both future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all times. But he knows what positions he can't get into. Moraes knows what positions he can't get into. And it just leaves you with a very technical battle between the two. And that's what it was, a 5-round fight that was just extremely technical. Both guys really knowing how to stay safe. Both guys being very meticulous and being extremely calculated with the risks that they take. And Mighty Mouse won the fight. I thought it was a pretty easy fight to score. He did a lot more damage in the clinch. He was able to throw some good knees in there. He was really hurting Moraes to the body. Moraes, I think just the hydration test and all that, like being able to withstand everything, especially being a bigger guy, knowing he's going to cut more weight than Mighty Mouse does. It is really impressive that he was able to do it, but ultimately, I thought it was an easy fight to score. Mighty Mouse got the win. He did what he had to do after the fight. Of course, the big story was like his retirement. Was he going to retire? Was he not going to retire? He didn't give a conclusion to that. Very similar to Henry Cejudo, where it's like, hey, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. They brought in the next challenger for him. They did a little face-off. I thought that one was a little bit more weird just because, like, when somebody's talking about retirement in the cage and talking about that might have been their last fight, to bring somebody in, it just seems like, okay, well, what are the fans going to get excited for? Like, should the fans even be caring about this? Because we may not see it. Like, you could very well retire. And then his kids were in there, which this was the first event his kids ever were at. This is the first time his kids ever saw him fight in person. So the fact that they were in there with his wife, and then he's talking about possibly retiring, and then somebody comes in and they do a fade, it was just all kind of weird to me, that portion of it. But if he's going to stay and he's going to fight, that's the next challenger. And, you know, as long as Mighty Mouse is on the card, you still do that in the American time slot, and you make sure Stamp is on there. You make sure Rodtang's on there. I thought Danielle Kelly should have been on this one. You make sure she's on it. I think Taiwanche, PK Sanchai, he needs to be on the next American time slot. Like, Americans have to get extremely familiar with the young Sanchai. They're pretty familiar with the older Sanchai, who, you know, isn't there. They're not seeing him too much, but people kind of recognize him as like the Muay Thai GOAT. They need to get recognized with the young one. Taiwanche is incredible. I can't wait for him to burst on the scenes as well in America. But overall, what an incredible night. What an incredible night for one championship. Smashing success of an event. I hope that they continue to have these. They will. I mean, obviously, they're not going to have the first one and then disappear from America for a while. And they're still going to have a bunch that are on American time slots. Hopefully, this one catapulted it, which I really do think it did. Catapulted more and more Americans to watch over. People who are fans of the UFC, people who are fans of Bellator, people who are fans of the PFL, to say, hey, this shit's cool. These Muay Thai fights in 4-ounce gloves are fucking awesome. These rule sets where you can see knees to grounded opponents, where you see guys that aren't completely depleting themselves. They're a little more high energy. They're not getting knocked out as easy. When you see the rule sets of giving guys yellow cards, they card them if you're not putting the action. That's the other one I was going to go to before I leave. I almost forgot. Kron Gracie, Charles Jourdain. That shit would never happen in one. It is not allowed. As soon as that happened, that scene, that moment, that optics, that visual of Charles Jourdain standing, Kron Gracie on the bottom, and Kron Gracie butt scooting towards him as Charles Jourdain's walking away from him, the ref would have immediately tell Charles Jourdain, either get in there, engage with him, or Kron, stand your ass up. But this isn't going to happen. You walking away from a dude butt scooting towards you like a dog dragging his ass across the carpet, this isn't going to happen. We don't see that in one. You either engage or you either get the hell up. If you guys don't want to, here's some yellow cards for both. If you get carded, you lose a percentage of your purse. It forces the action nonstop. Now, I do feel in MMA fights, one can be a little quick with their refs. They're a little quick to like always be in the middle. Come on. Where it's like, they are coming on. They're, you know what I mean? They're doing their thing, man. Or one of them has the back. And it's like, God, that's just such a good position. And you're telling them to go for the submission or start landing strikes from the top. It's like, gosh, it's such a good position. So there's some tweaks that, you know, they have to make. But ultimately, that visual that everyone was booing, that everybody was upset with, that the fan at home watching on TV was just furious about, that shit doesn't happen in one. And that's why I love it. That's why One Championship is my favorite organization. I didn't say the best. I didn't say that they're doing things much better than UFC. But I love the passion. I love the trajectory that they're on. And I love submission grappling. I love Muay Thai. I love kickboxing. The fact that I can see all of them and I can see guys be extremely good in their discipline and still have the opportunity to be in the same organization and go into a different discipline, I think is awesome. You see Muay Thai fighters fighting kickboxing. You're seeing submission grapplers try to make their interest in MMA. You're seeing MMA guys like De Ritter come over to submission grappling and show off their skill set there. I love One Championship. I thought it was an incredible night, and it was an incredible weekend for combat sports overall. Hey guys, thanks for watching this clip from the Sicko Sports Podcast. If you want to catch the full episodes, you got to head over to Spotify. Just type in Sicko Sports Podcast, or you can just click the link that's down in the description. Thanks as always. See you next time.